The assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump has raised his odds of winning back the White House. Opinion polls have shown a tight race, but history suggests such events can significantly shift public sentiment. Following the 1981 assassination attempt, President Ronald Reagan saw a 22-point surge in polls. Analysts now say the incident could reduce uncertainty in the election, potentially leading to a landslide victory for Trump. The financial markets had already been reacting to the possibility of a Trump presidency since President Joe Biden's poor performance in last month's debate. The dollar was climbing and there were moves towards a steeper US Treasury yield curve. These gathered even more momentum after the shooting. The dollar strengthened against most peers on Monday, with the Mexican peso leading the slide. Cryptocurrencies also surged, potentially reflecting Trump's crypto-friendly stance. Bitcoin rose almost 10% to hit a two-week high of $62,700, while Ether was also up around 70% at $3,300. Trump has previously presented himself as a champion for cryptocurrency and indicated he would like to see more Bitcoin mining by US firms. The economy remains one of the key issues for voters. According to a Reuters poll, many see Trump as the better candidate for the economy, even as inflation slowed and unemployment remained historically low under Biden's presidency. Market analysts expect a Trump administration would bring a more hawkish trade policy, less regulation, and looser climate change regulations. However, there are concerns about a rising budget deficit under a potential Trump presidency. He's previously signaled an extension on corporate and personal tax cuts expiring next year. According to a Congressional Budget Office report, fully extending the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, or TCJA, could add an estimated $4.6 trillion to the deficit over the next decade. For more, let's bring in Ross Feingold in Taipei. He's the former Asia chairperson of Republicans Abroad. Great to have you with us, Ross. Firstly, how do you think the assassination attempt on former President Trump will impact his chances of winning back the White House?
Realistically speaking, it's going to energize his supporters, keeping in mind that his supporters throughout the country are already very enthusiastic. Republican voters are a lot more enthusiastic about Donald Trump than Democrat voters are enthusiastic about Joe Biden. But thankfully, he survived this, and it's probably just going to cause his supporters to have even more enthusiasm for his candidacy and potentially for winning the election.
Right. Can you elaborate on the market reactions to the possibility of a Trump victory and how they might influence the economy?
For people in the market, they already have experience with Trump because there was the first term of Trump for 4 years. So the market and investors have a fairly good idea about which sectors are going to benefit. Especially if they extend the tax cuts. Trump being a real estate guy, he's probably going to look at taking action that help the real estate market. Certainly, he's expressed support for the crypto industry. Steel is going to benefit because of tariffs on foreign steel that Trump is most likely only to raise. And then some of the sectors that benefit under Biden are probably not going to do so well. And that would include some of the renewable energy products that Biden has championed, but are not going to be championed by a Trump administration.
Right, and you touched on cryptocurrencies. How do you think Trump's crypto-friendly stance plays in the recent surge in cryptocurrencies that we're seeing?
It's certainly a factor. I mean, if you ask investors in crypto, which candidate do they think is going to be more friendly? Who's going to appoint a more friendly Securities and Exchange Commission chairman? It's clearly Trump and not Biden. So for investors in crypto, they're certainly hopeful for a Trump victory, and then that would renew interest and put more investors into crypto assets, and it's only going to cause appreciation in crypto.
Right, and also how might Trump's potential economic policies, such as tax cut extensions and trade policies, affect the budget deficit and overall economy?
Well, again, if we look at the first Trump term, he implemented tax cuts, which passed Congress and with his support, and he signed it into law. Deficit spending did go up, and so these are the things that will probably happen again under Trump 2.0. So they'll extend the tax cuts, There will be investments in the military greater than what Biden did, and they won't touch things like Social Security and Medicare. So that means the budget deficit will go up, and hopefully interest rates might come down in this scenario, so the United States will be able to fund its borrowings. But again, if we look at the first Trump administration, they weren't too concerned about the deficit or adding to the national debt.
All right, Ross Feingold in Taipei. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.